Rajiv Masand.
My friend Stuti, thank you for having me. Now you can review scripts for a living, help actors choose what scripts to do, what films to do, and that to me was quite exciting. There's a film called Control which Vikramaditya Motwani directed with Ananya, and to be fair, I mean I didn't have to push Ananya, but it's a film that it's something that came up, and I asked Vikram to meet Ananya. Every actor is delusional, and every actor is a little bit nuts, varying degrees of nuttiness. I was lucky to play a very small part in maybe connecting the two of them, that they're extremely vulnerable, and it's an extremely insecure profession. It's the sort of profession where you have to prove your worth and prove your talent and prove your mettle and prove your viability and your equity every week. You know, there was one producer who told me, "अच्छा तुमको याद है तुमने वो फिल्म के बारे में क्या बोला था?" And you know, this was a terrible film that was made 20 years ago. Mughal-e-Azam is absolutely one of my favorites. I think it's one of those films that does not get old. It's a film that has aged beautifully. Most recently, a film that just made my heart happy was Lapata Ladies.
Hi guys, I'm Stuti. With me is the one who needs no introduction, Rajiv Masand.
My friend Stuti, thank you for having me.
बहुत है आप हमें पसंद.
कोशिश करते हैं. Thank you.
And to Mumbai people, meet in Guwahati.
Yes.
We're here for the Brahmaputra Valley Film Festival.
Yes.
And this is right after an amazing session, listening to Rajiv speak
you.
about this switch that he has managed to do so successfully, so nicely, from talking about films, critiquing, writing reviews, telling us what to watch, what not to watch, now telling the stars what to do, what to read, how to go about their career. How's this switch been?
It's been an interesting switch, Stuti. I mean, like we used to watch films together. We were at preview screenings, watching films, then dissecting them, sometimes gossiping and bitching about the films that we watched, which is great fun. Except that I did it for really long. I did it for about 25 years. So that COVID year, I got really bored. I decided that I needed a fresh challenge. Luckily for me, this came up where I had an opportunity to join a talent management company, and the pitch that was made to me was, you've reviewed films for a living. Now you can review scripts for a living, help actors choose what scripts to do, what films to do, and that to me was quite exciting. I work with a lot of actors. I read a lot of scripts. We chat about scripts and feel and strategize about, are these is this the kind of script that would benefit an actor, that would help an actor. Try to match directors to scripts which sometimes are not where there's not a director attached, but it's great fun. I mean, I have to say, to get an opportunity, so late in your career to kind of reinvent, I think it's a great opportunity, and I'm so grateful for it.
You know, one thing that I want to tell everyone is that the reason I think so many people are so fond of Rajiv, and which आज के कलयुग में बड़ा मुश्किल है कि आप सच बोलो और लोग फिर भी आपको पसंद करें. But you have a way with words. You will say what you feel, but you've done that with your reviews, where you might have panned a film, but you do it with keeping the dignity of the person and the film intact. And I think a lot of that skill you still need in your current profile, where you have to tell stars things they might not like to hear.
But I think you're right. I think the most important thing is that you can. I've always felt that you can say anything or you can ask any question if you do it well and if you do it correctly. I think with reviews, I mean, you have to say what you feel about a film. You can't mince words because that's the job, and your only responsibility is to the person that is watching your review or listening to your review or reading your review. It is not to the actors, it's not to the makers. Your only responsibility is to the truth and to share your emotional response to a film. In this job, I think it's the same rule sort of applies, because you have to talk to actors about what you think about a script or what you thought about the work that they've recently done. Sometimes an actor's done a film that's turned out to be a really awful film, and you still have to convey that without maybe saying it's an awful film, because obviously everyone's raw and everyone's chosen that film hoping it's going to be a great film. But I think if you can't say how you feel and if you can't be honest about it, then you shouldn't be doing that job at all. So it's treading on eggshells sometimes, but I think it has to be done.
Tell us about a script that you pushed an actor to do and that turned out great for their career.
You know, there's a film called Control which Vikramaditya Motwani directed with Ananya. And to be fair, I mean, I didn't have to push Ananya, but it's a film that you know, it's something that came up, and I asked Vikram to meet Ananya, and luckily Vikram had seen Gehraiyan and thought that you know, Ananya was someone with a lot of promise. Ananya immediately recognized that Vikram is a filmmaker that she would you know, learn so much from, and I was lucky to play a very small part in maybe connecting the two of them. I can't take any more credit. It was a great script, and Ananya is a very intelligent actor who saw the potential of it. Fortunately, Vikram thought she'd be right for it, and the rest is sort of history. But you know, I feel like an agent's job, a film agent's job, if done correctly and if done well, you have an opportunity to shape or play some role in shaping an actor's life and career, and I think that is such a huge responsibility. So it's something that you really want to try to do responsibly.
You know, Rajiv, because you're also a friend, thoda sa indulge karna. I don't want you to give out names. I
Sure.
don't want you to, you know, as they say, lose your job.
Right.
You're doing great. But actors could deal karna, the egos. Okay?
Yeah.
Is it true a lot of people, you know, I know a lot of people watching this video will want to know, do they have fragile egos? How is it like? Are they a little delusional? What will you say?
They're very delusional. I think the one thing that I think we can all agree, and I think the actors will agree as well, is that there's a lot of delusion. There's a lot of, you know, every actor is delusional, and every actor is a little bit nuts, varying degrees of nuttiness. I've kind of wrapped my head around the delusion because I understand that if as an actor you don't believe that you are the best actor since Amitabh Bachchan, then how are you going to convince that to a filmmaker to cast you in a film which has about 300 people vying for the same gig? So I understand that you have to believe you're the best thing since sliced bread for anyone else to think that you are the best thing. So I get that. I think it's important to be realistic and objective. All actors seem to be very realistic and very objective when it comes to other actors' careers. I wish there was the same objectivity when it came to one's own. But I also think that we have to respect the fact and appreciate the fact that they're extremely vulnerable, and it's an extremely insecure profession. It's the sort of profession where you have to prove your worth and prove your talent and prove your mettle and prove your viability and your equity every week. And when those are the stakes, you know, I understand why they're extremely vulnerable and insecure. I think human beings are insecure. I think actors are in a profession where it's just the nature of the job, and as a result of that, you know, there are fragile egos, there are sensitive egos. Once you get to understand where they're coming from, I think it's easy to, you know, to accept it and to kind of deal with it. I think actors are actually very intelligent people. I think they don't always show that side, but actually they're quite intelligent. They understand how they need to conduct themselves in front of fans. They understand how they need to conduct themselves in front of filmmakers. They understand how they need to conduct themselves in front of journalists. I've had a chance to taste two sides of that, and you know, I actually enjoy working with actors because they are the tools through which we enjoy our films. So you know, they're the medium which makes us appreciate films, and when they do their job well, those are the great films, right?
Lovely. Okay, final question. I'm here for the stories and the anecdotes.
Yeah.
Because you, like you said, have made that switch.
Yeah.
बड़ी सारी फिल्मों को आपने पैन किया. फिर हम उनमें से कई आ रहे होंगे आपसे मिलने.
बिल्कुल.
तो कोई इंसिडेंट है जहाँ किसी ने कुछ याद रखा हो और
You know, there was one producer who told me, अच्छा तुमको याद है तुमने वो फिल्म के बारे में क्या बोला था? And you know, this was a terrible film that was made 20 years ago. I don't think anyone gave this film a good review. So for him to hold that one against me, I thought was a bit strange. But and then there was this actor, and I'm not going to name this actor, who you know, asked me to send feedback for a script that I'd read, and I sent that feedback, and he said, you know, this reminds me of the good old days when you used to bajao all my films, and I realized that is the baggage and the legacy or whatever you want to call it. But I think in most cases, I think that people understand, filmmakers and actors, I think they recognize that there's a genuine love for storytelling. There is a genuine love for the work that they do, and I think for that reason they don't perhaps hold on too long to the memories of me sort of maybe not loving all of their films.
I think just for people who love cinema,
Yeah.
what are the 5 films you think everyone must watch
Should watch.
to be able to understand cinema better?
You know, from the golden oldies, from the classics, Mughal-e-Azam is absolutely one of my favorites. I think it's one of those films that does not get old. It's a film that has aged beautifully. It's got incredible music, it's got incredible performances. The romance is so sensual and erotic without being icky and you know, anyway in any way uncomfortable. You know, I love Yash Chopra's films. I loved. I'm going to go for slightly more recent picks. Chandni is one of my absolute favorite films. I was a huge fan of both Sridevi and Rishi Kapoor, and I loved that film. Closer to these times, Udaan by Vikramaditya Motwani is one of my all-time favorite films. Udaan, Masaan, Gangs of Wasseypur. This is from that sort of you know, that young breed of new Indian filmmakers at the time. I mean, those are amazing films. Most recently, a film that just made my heart happy was Lapata Ladies. I really had no idea what to expect from that film. It's a film that's so beautiful and so well told and so well acted. It just made me happy. And I think that there are, you know, as much as films are meant to engage, and films are meant to disturb, and films are meant to question, I think films are a big part of films. They're meant to make you feel good, and Lapata Ladies did that. I just loved that film. It is my favorite film of this year and of many years maybe.
How cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Rajit.
Stuti. Always a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.